So hit me. What do you got?
So this question is coming from Sam Ostrin. He is one of our current $10 pledges. So thank you for that,
Thank you, Sam.
He's getting that pin.
His question is, if you had to choose between watching only movies or only TV for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
Oh.
Movies. Done.
Really?
I'm quick.
Does Netflix
Why movies?
originals
Why movies?
that are limited in episodic nature count as TV?
That counts as TV to me.
Yeah, it's TV.
Okay.
You go ahead and explain, Adam, because I'm going to look for a question, and then I'll tell you why I'm choosing movies.
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna go with the new age TV, style, right? Where new age. When I say new age, I mean on demand, released all at once per season. It usually only lasts a finite number of seasons. It's not like some sort of crazy 10-season run.
Well, effectively content format.
Yes, it's just an extended format. I like that a lot because for me it hits on the budgetary allowance of a movie while allowing for the story and character development of a TV show. So I feel
like you're cheating.
I'm gonna go for that. That's TV now. Even on TV was like, what's HBO? Fucking every time you watch Game of Thrones, it's an hour long and it's basically a theatrical release, for God's sake. Like, that's just TV now. It's where everything's going. So I feel like that's just kind of
very
where we're at.
Very few shows can do what Game of Thrones.
But
Game of Thrones has like millions of dollars for a set piece. I mean, that's
yes, of course. Even Netflix shows are 45 minutes to an hour at a pop, right? For a lot of them. So I mean, I think that's, if I can choose that, if I'm gonna choose primetime television where I'm gonna watch fucking Coronation Street, no, fuck that. I don't want to see that shit. But if I can choose Netflix style programming, not so I can watch movies on demand, but the just Netflix original type stuff for short and long form TV type format, then yeah, I'll go with that for those reasons.
What about you, Panic?
I'm gonna go with TV. As much as I love like movie style, like Big Bang, I need the storytelling. I need the depth, and you just can't get that in a movie unless you have tons of movies coming out, which you don't.
I appreciate that. I'm definitely the movie guy.
I like character depth.
Yeah, I'm the movie guy.
That's fair.
There's multiple reasons. Number one, I love the movie experience. I love getting in my car, going on my app, finding the show times, going to the theater, standing in line, getting my popcorn, grabbing my Coke Zero, heading to the theater, sitting down in the middle of the theater, in the middle row, watching the previews, getting excited for what's coming, being in a big dark room with loud ass sound, and escaping from my life. Being out of this house, whether it be alone in the movie theater or with my wife or with a friend, I love the experience. Even if I go and see a bad movie, I at least got to have a movie experience, and that you just cannot get in your house. Listen, I've got a fucking $6,000 TV. I've got great theater chairs in there. I've got a bar in behind my chairs. I've got the ultimate man cave, and I would much rather
you gotta wear pants while watching movies in a theater, Jeff.
Well, yeah, but I would much rather be in the movie theater. Now, don't get me wrong. I love being in there, and there's a time and place for that, right? But I'm just trying to say how much more I would rather. And this is life or death, dude. If somebody told me, Jeff, you got to either eat chicken for the rest of your life or eat
watermelon,
salmon. Dude, don't get that racist. All right. That right there is an easier, that's easy. Obviously, I'm taking chicken. I'm going to, it's kind of a bad thing because I'm black.
You're not a
vegan?
But
that's not because I love chicken. If somebody legitimately had a gun to my head and said, motherfucker, TV or movies, bitch, for the rest of your life, and they meant it, that shit is like that's almost like Kayla saying, Jeff, when are we having kids? It's that important because movies it is my, like, believe it or not, man, people think video games is my escape. No, I mean, it was before it was my job, but movies is where I go to forget my life. And although my life is awesome, I like to be transported to a different place in time, whether that be in a far, far galaxy away, or whatever. Listen, there are infinitely better movies out there than there are TV shows. And I know that there are great shows, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, even Lost too. I know I keep coming back to that. I just really liked Lost. It goes on. And like Adams said, Netflix, HBO, these shows are becoming better and better and better. And there's going to become a point in time where even going to the movie theater won't even be an option for some people. They're going to get a great enough content at home, and or movie theater films are going to be on demand the same time as they get released in movie theaters. It's just going to be a matter of time. And then people like Adam that enjoy a good movie, he's not a movie guy. So, I mean, it's easier for him to sit down and enjoy a show that he can get invested in and watch with his girlfriend or whatever and just, relax in the comfort of his home because he's a homebody and that's what he enjoys, like many, many people. But for somebody like me, it's definitely the movies. I love just everything about it, and there's just so much more variety. And to think that I could never see another Star Wars film in a movie theater or never go to another Marvel movie, although we do have a cinematic universe for hitting TV and stuff like that, it's not the same. It's just not the same. And even if I had a theater, even if I could go to the theater and watch TV shows, I would still pick movies over TV shows. Just because there's something about going to see an hour and a half, 2 hour film, going to see, a 3 hour, I don't know, what's his face that makes long movies all the time. Scorsese,
everybody now?
There's something about going and seeing these films that are just beat TV shows for me. But I agree, it's a tough one. It's not that tough for me, but I love TV shows. So, it would be a terrible, terrible thing to have to choose. I'd have to go movies. I mean, come on, you guys never gonna watch another Star Wars movie?
I would take TV over that. I would take my 13-hour binge of something.
God, dude, you're gonna watch 13 Ways to Commit Suicide over.
Oh, not that specific one. Most Netflix series are 13 episodes.
I know.
I could just watch.
Like a full marathon of Stranger Things versus a single Star Wars movie.
I could do that, or like.
But it's not a single Star Wars movie. You're getting a whole franchise. I mean,
every 3 years
for the rest of your life.
It just comes in spurts, and then it's like, all right, I got to wait another 20 years, 30 years before the next spurt.
Not anymore.
Star Wars movies.
Not anymore. Star Wars comes out every 2 years.
Yeah, that's true.
And then there's a spinoff. So really, we're getting Star Wars every year. To think I could never go to the second Avatar in theaters, I mean, wow. And that's an experience that you just can't get at home. So it's a tough. There's
so when I think about it, and I'll let Panic eventually get to his, at some point or other. I
answered
the way
already.
I looked, yeah, right. Well, you could add more. The way I looked at it was, I have more TV shows, for example, that, and obviously I haven't seen as many movies as Jeff or somebody that's more of a movie guy. I mean, I've obviously watched my fair share of movies. But there are more TV shows that I watched and attached myself to, like an emotion to than a movie. Movies tend to be what Jeff is saying, an experience, in a small, kind of encapsulated thing in this 2 hour to 3 hour window or whatever, and you get that experience. I just get so much more invested, in TV shows because it's a little bit longer running, and there are some movies where I attach a lot of emotion to, but the TV shows just seem to always get me man. Way more.
I can't argue it because I agree with everything you're saying.
You're a robot,
Adam.
Yeah.
And it's also you just don't see that many movies, so you just if you saw as many movies as I did, I don't know, maybe you would even think even more strongly about.
I used to watch so many movies. I just don't do it anymore. Like I used to be just like maybe it's because you can't really rent them anymore, and you got to go out of your way to friggin' either go to the theater or buy them or wait until they're on Netflix. Like I used to love renting movies.
And that's the thing, Adam. And I want you to think about that for a second because. Renting movies is very similar to going to the movie theater. Going to rent a movie was an event. It was an experience. How long
absolutely.
did you sit in Blockbuster looking at all the
absolutely.
What are they called? The fucking VHSs. There you go. That's how the VHS, or the DVDs or even Blu-rays for a short period of time. Like going there, like I used to spend an hour and a half in that bitch.
Looking for one.
And just looking for movies. How many times have we gone over to Travis's mom's place? Where Travis's mom was working, where they had all those movies, and we would go there for like 2 hours and just look at movies because it was an experience. And I feel the same way about going to the movie theater. It's that experience. Mm-hmm. It's not just the film; it's the leading up. That's the fun part.
Absolutely.
So, I'm down. All right. I am going to get to my question, and the reason why I'm picking this is because not only do I want to say my piece about it, and I'm sure you guys will too. But also, like 3 people asked this question, so I'm kind of hitting 2 birds with 1 stone here, or maybe even 3 birds with 1 stone. The first person to ask this question is Shad Dad, who's a $10 supporter. And then there was another one who is Duke, who is also a $10 supporter. And I do believe there's a third one in there somewhere. If you did ask, thank you, other third person. His question is, I'll just pick the first one here. How do you guys feel about spinners?
I'm pissed off about them because
Panic definitely has one. I know Panic.
No, I've had one for 3 years now. I've had one for 3 years now. Like my fidget spinner is 3 years old and it sits on my desk at work, and I actually use it for a legitimate purpose.
Adam's gone. I knew Panic was the type of guy that was going to own one of these motherfuckers. I knew it. He's probably got one sitting right beside him right now. He's probably got one sitting.
I have a fidget cube, but I don't have it here. It's sitting on my kitchen table.
Jesus.
The fidget cube I bought recently, but I've had a fidget spinner for about 3 years now, and it wasn't even called a fidget spinner back then. I use it at work all the time, man. Like it's my conference call go-to. Because the problem is on conference calls, like if I'm holding a pen, like I just start like literally just going back and forth with the pen. Like anything I have on my desk, I'll just start like going and fidgeting. Or if I don't have it, like my leg will start going. And like the problem with our desks at work is my leg is literally like an inch. So as I'm doing it, I'm hitting the table. And
Panic is sounding like a guy that loves marijuana, bro. He sounds like one of those marijuana dudes coming up with every motherfucking reason why spinners are so awesome, bro.
Oh, I'm not saying they're awesome. I'm really pissed off that it's like a huge thing.
I'm poking fun at you right now because I can, Panic. I'm poking fun at you right now because I can.
Everyone's got them now, and I'm like, now this is not legit.
I have legitimately heard every single goddamn excuse on why somebody wants a spinner. Oh, I fidget. Oh, I have ADHD. Oh, I can't fucking think straight. Oh, my asshole bleeds. Oh, I have to go to the bathroom and piss 10 times a day, and this makes it so my bladder doesn't feel like it's gonna explode. I watch Netflix all day and I just want to spin something. Oh my God. I've heard every excuse in a motherfucking book, and here's the reason why I'm hating on spinners. Because they're everywhere, and I fucking hate it. It's a gimmick. It's like it's Pokemon Go on crack right now.
The snap bracelets.
And I think the worst part about it, what really pisses me off and why I see it so much, is I huss some retro video games. And I have to post stuff on the internet. And there are so many fuck boys and fuck girls out there that are going on some Chinese website and buying 500 of these fucking things that they paid 50 cents on the piece for, and selling it for $10 to $15 a pop. And what makes me even more salty is that there's 200 people that are messaging saying, hold 6 of them for me. Yo, get one for my grandmother. Yeah, I'll grab one for you. Tagging their friends in the shit. I mean, listen, if you guys are enjoying them and you're having fun spinning.
3 years ago. It doesn't even look like the normal fidget spinners.
If I see a single person spinning one of those things around me, I'm smacking it out of their hand and I'm just walking away because they're just annoying to look at. And I wouldn't be such a hater if they weren't everywhere and shoved down I've seen spinners for everything. The only cool thing I've ever seen was the thing that Adam posted where someone had a picture of Sonic and they spin the thing and it looked like his feet were spinning around in circles really quickly. That's the only cool thing I've ever seen before. I digress. I think they're stupid.
Yeah.
And whoever came up with them is very rich. And hopefully they got a patent on
honestly,
that.
I
they
doubt
better patent that thing.
Guaranteed they didn't.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if you have a patent on that right now? You are so fucking rich.
Oh, you'd be filthy rich. But I bet you,
dude.
I bet you it doesn't exist though. I don't even think you can patent it. I bet you they block you on it. You could get a patent on a very specific design of it, but I mean, it's not very hard to get around a patent for a spinner. So
it's literally a ball bearing. Like the one I have.
Yeah, it's a fucking ball bearing. Yeah.
The one I have is pretty much this one.
Can we get custom spinners made?
Of course we can.
If we hit the $5,000 mark on motherfucking Patreon, can we get some limited edition technical office spinners? Can that happen? Because that's the only type of spinner that I would deem respectable.
Look, all right. This is like.
Adam, how do you feel about spinning?
This is how. Oh yeah, I sit and spin all the time. People tell me it's a great experience. I should try it more often. No, the spinner thing, I agree, has gotten a little out of hand, and it's
too nuts.
They were honest to goodness. Spinners aren't the first thing that were invented for the purpose of people that have busy hands or their nervous energy, or they honest to God do have ADHD, even though it's one of the most overdiagnosed things on the face of the fucking planet.
Oh yeah.
Everybody says they have ADHD now. It's like, oh, I just got ADHD.
It's almost like it's cool. It's like, yeah, you got ADHD. Like, yeah, I got ADHD. You got ADHD. Yeah.
We'll
okay,
share
I can stop moving.
We can share Adderall. So,
I got ADHD and I'm proud of it. It's almost like someone going, yeah, I'm missing a chromosome. You're missing a chromosome. We're all missing chromosomes.
It is a little silly. But like, so they were obviously, there was other things, they a long time ago, they would have had their Trump. You're doing like the Trump shit.
The Trump shit is, you like spinners?
Coke. They used to be called do-nothings. And I have one. Yeah, they're called do-nothings, and I have one that Dad made me based on a design my grandfather, his dad, made, where it's literally a block of wood that has just 4 channels in it and a kind of a gear in the middle and a handle, and it just pushes things out of the channels on all sides. It just spins, and it does nothing. That's the whole joke, is it just fucking does nothing. But it's just something to keep you busy. It's like people that whittled friggin' sticks to sitting down. They just needed to get and do something. So spinners are like just the friggin' new age version of that you can stick in your pocket. And now, again, to be fair, there are people that this, gets rid of their need to do things like bounce their knees or tap their foot or take a pen and constantly be doing, not everybody's trying to be an Asian and do like sick pen tricks in class because you're Asian, you can do it. But, some people honestly just feel the need to do that kind of stuff, the nervous energy. And so it's a legitimate thing.
I just have it in my hands.
Yeah, exactly. It's a legitimate way for people to to get that energy out of their system. But unfortunately now, like you said, it's gone absolutely everywhere, and people are starting to come up with 1,001 reasons for it.
Oh yeah.
To have it, and it's whatever. You want to go and spend $15 on a freaking ball bearing? You go spend $15 on a ball bearing. I ain't got nothing on you.
I was walking.
Just like veganism and fucking like third wave feminism and all that shit. I don't care to hear about it.
3 years ago for $6. And it was hilarious because I was walking in the mall today and they actually opened like a fidget spinner kiosk. And I saw a kid literally twirling like 4 of them while we were eating lunch. And I look at it and I see my exact spinner on there. And I'm like, oh yeah, I bought that for $6. I asked how much it cost. Like, yeah, that'll be $25. I'm like,
do you want to know?
That's the stupidest thing ever.
I can't even imagine. But I'm thinking the people that hate the spinners the most, anybody in the world, and I don't know because I haven't talked to any of these people, but I'm sure it is absolutely the worst thing since cell phones.
Teachers
being in school.
Oh,
teachers,
no.
Can you imagine the amount of fucking spinners?
Looking out into the classroom and everybody's fucking
LED ones.
And you know, and then you've got these stupid little shit kids that are like, well, I need this because I have ADHD, you know, or my mom said I can use this, you know, I'm biting my pen too much, or you know, whatever. Can you imagine being a teacher right now? And how many spinners are in fucking a class? How many of them are dropping on the floor?
How many spinners do you think that?
How many of them are
just? Do you
just?
think the teacher has in their desk drawer now?
I would. Oh,
how many spinners do you think
could open up a shop?
Instant.
You could open up a shop, a spinner shop, bro.
Now, thankfully, with cell phones, teachers are having a hard time getting the right to be able to take cell phones from students for the duration of the class, because parents go, well, I gave it to my kid in case there's an emergency. You can't take the cell phone off my kid in case you beat him with a fucking meter stick.
Yeah. Like, or somebody comes into school and tries to shoot it up or something, right? Parents are
exactly.
Crazy with stuff like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
and rightfully so. I mean,
happen a lot.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
But I give a shit.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
If I had kids, and my teacher said, "Hey, can I take your kid's cell phone?" I'd say one of two things. First of all, they don't have a cell phone, so don't worry about it. But if he did have a cell phone, or they had a cell phone, absolutely strip that off of them as soon as they enter the classroom. They don't need it.
You want to know what's fucked up, bro? And this is just a little thing I'm going to add on the end. My godson, who I do believe now is turning
like 2.
I think he's turning 2 in December. I want to say it's 2. This motherfucker. All right, listen to this. I went over to their place the other day just to visit. And, you know, before he hated me, right? It was like he didn't see me very often. I see him a lot more. Obviously, I'm different colored than he is. And he goes to daycare and stuff, so there's like a couple of black kids that are there, so I think he's just getting used to, you know, darker people. But now he loves me. Like, he loves coming here. He runs around. He loves my game room. I'm showing him all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, one day, you know, I'm going to give you all kinds of cool shit. And so I'm over their house, and he's on his iPad, right? And literally, he has a fucking iPad, all right? So not only is that stupid, but the kid has an iPad. And he's on YouTube, okay? And he's watching videos, and he's clicking on videos. But listen to this, Adam. And this is the reason why we ain't getting paid and all this other shit.
Okay.
This motherfucker puts on he never watches a full video. He'll start like a kid song. It'll be 20 seconds in. He'll click on another one, and when the video doesn't pop up, he spams the bottom right corner where you can skip the ad, and he waits the 4 seconds, and then he skips the ad on the 5th second so he can watch the video. This kid is already, I swear to God, he's already skipping ads, bro. They're already desensitized from skipping ads. The kid is not even 2 years old, and he's skipping it. He knows how to do it. I'm looking at it going, what the fuck? How? And every time he puts on a new video, he's tapping the fucking bottom right. And even if the video hasn't started, or there is no ad, he's still clicking it because he's waiting for it to skip. It's crazy, dude.
It's gonna be like 20 years from now.
Oh my God.
Just gonna be like, I was gonna give you this entire shelf of games, but I remember when you were 2 years old, how you ripped me off of all of that ad revenue.
Yes.
Hitting the skip ad button. So now this shelf stays right here.
Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that a kid that young not only is on an iPad and using it, like fucking scrolling over and shit, like actually using an iPad, but is smart enough and sophisticated enough at that age to be skipping ads and knowing where they're going to pop up and how long they take to pop up. That is just bizarre. It's bizarre. And to see it firsthand, you're just going, what the fuck?
I know. I agree with Panic. Kids are on that shit way too early now. It's crazy.
They're not
developing critical thinking skills. They're not doing so many different things.
Yeah, they're gonna hate me, bro.
I'm sitting them down with a bucket of Legos.
Yeah,
like not even like a set of Legos, like the bucket where it's just got random pieces and you build random shit.
And what the problem is a lot of parents just don't want to deal with their kids. So they give them this technology as a way of parenting. And I'm sure there's tons of people that are listening to like, dude, my fucking kids got iPads and shit, and we're perfectly happy. This isn't a shot at you at all. I mean, everybody raises their children however they want. This is not a shot. I mean, my godson is using iPads on the regular, and I don't go to his parents and be like, you shouldn't, that they're the parents and they're great parents. But it's crazy to me to fathom that my kid, even before like the age 5, would be using technology the way that some of these kids are using already. And it's not because, you can make the argument that, I know this is a total tangent, but I know you can make the argument, that, hey, Jeff, the times have changed. When this kid is going to be 20, we're going to be, or the technology we use is going to be obsolete. And it's just it's a progression. Like we were using like fucking Pog and all this other stuff. They're using iPads. And I get that. I'm not saying that you can't use technology, but as like a new parent, the first thing you're giving your kids are screens and headphones and all these things that are just going to melt their brain. It's scary. I don't know.
They need to be able to function in a world without technology. They need to be able
I'm the
to
only one that
critically
thinks that way. I like to think of it both sides. I think it's great that kids are learning technology much earlier than we are, and I think that's a necessity. I mean, the whole world is changing in terms of jobs and probably even schooling, and everything is going to be
it's what
all
they're
on a screen.
doing with the technology. It's the amount. Right now, a lot of these kids are just consuming media in various forms. They're not. I don't have anything against, obviously technology is ubiquitous and they're gonna have to use it throughout their entire life and more advanced forms than we're ever gonna be doing. We're gonna be the old guy not knowing how to reprogram the VCR. Like that shit's gonna eventually happen. So that's just kind of the way it is. So it's not the technology specifically, in my opinion. It's what they're doing with it. So it's the constant media consumption. They're already getting,
amount of it.
If you're Yeah, exactly. If you're already getting bombarded with advertisements before you're 3 years old and you already know how to skip the damn thing, that's kind of fucked up, to be completely honest with you.
That's really messed up.
Yeah, and so if you're using technology in educational purposes, just like when we were kids, where we're putting fucking square blocks into round holes and trying to do that shit. If you're doing that, or if it's reading related or even just anything like that, there's so many educational tools that are technologically driven. That's fine, whatever. But so many parents now are, and I'm not saying this is the case with your godson, obviously.
No, and he plays a lot of physical stuff. Like he has all those things. And this is just like, I'm just telling a funny little story. Like he's not on a fucking iPad all the time. He's usually playing with trucks and shit. But you know what I mean? Just to see that, right? Just to see it,
yeah. But there's a lot of parents now. I mean, I think it's pretty universally known that not everybody should be a parent, and parents. It might be questionable, in my opinion, that having children is a right. Might be a little questionable, but there's some people out there.
That's a whole other topic for another podcast.
They have kids, and they get infatuated with the idea of having children, and they love the idea of having children, and then they have children, and they went, oh fuck, wait, we just like that the other people that we know have children, and we like seeing them for like 2 hours at a time, and then not seeing the other 22 hours of the day that some parents feel like is actually more like 26 hours because of the length of time their children are constantly keeping them up and they have to do things for. They sit them in front of these things and just walk away. They're like, oh, what's that? You're having a little whiny moment? Here's your iPad. Turn on like a TV show or a game and walk away, and then go watch their own Netflix shows on TV. Like that's a lot of parents. That is literally what parenting is. It's put the screen in front of the kid, let the screen do all the work, walk the fuck away, and go and do your other, live your life type shit.
Shut the baby up with technology.
Just anything to do, just fucking shut them up.
I 100% agree with you. I think it's phenomenal that kids, even as young as my godson, that knows how to use iPads, and the fact that he's watching, like the content he was watching was like educational stuff, like little kitty singing along songs, and it's all educational. It's great, but I think that in moderation, even if you're doing those sort of things, I think having a time, like, say, you don't have to be super strict and be like, you only get 1 hour iPad, but I'm saying if that is your main source, it's scary. And just what really stemmed that is seeing him skip those ads the way that I would skip an ad and just going, I don't want to, get me out of here. Seeing a kid that can't even talk right, like, do that. You're going, whoa, shit. Not only is that kind of creepy to think of, and it's just a reality, but on top of that, how bad do we feel for the advertisers that now got to figure out a way that when this kid is like 15, how are you going to market to this kid? It is going to be so desensitized in every way, shape, or form. The type of marketing that's going to have to happen 15 years from now is going to have to be so much more direct that it almost like it shit have to show up at your front door for you to pay attention to it.
Yeah, we talk about advertising as a topic as well, and for a full podcast for how creepy it's getting.
I imagine. But
anyway,
just with I was one other thing to add to that. You mentioned the kids that are like that now, and even some of the generation that we've got that are now hitting their teens and stuff as we speak. Socially, these kids are a mess. Like a legitimate mess.
Oh yeah.
It was a problem when television became a thing, where there's always been something that tied up a small section of that age group, the developmental years in elementary school and junior high into high school. Where people would find a way to avoid social gatherings if they were not that type of person. But now it's like everybody is doing it because it's just all media stuff and it's all in front of them all the time, and interaction is like impossible. And so like when I did the summer camps, even I saw this with our youth leaders that were between the ages of 13 and 16, and they trying to have just a fucking conversation, simple. Look, they had to look at you for more than 2 seconds at a time. It was all for most of them, not all of them, because there's some people too that are still adjusted individuals. Yeah. But the majority would not be able to look you in the eye and have a conversation with you for more than 3 minutes at a time before they were getting real antsy and they didn't know how to sit or react or anything. And this was just a casual environment. This was like at an event that we would throw on for the youth leaders.
Yep. That's happened in interviews that I've had with like professional people who are, somewhat younger on the professional spectrum, where they can't focus on a question I've asked for more than a minute or two before they start like digressing or getting confused. Yep.
And it doesn't make them stupid. Problem. A lot of those people are actually very intelligent, but they're
extremely
so
high functioning.
They're
extremely high functioning, but they just can't. They can't sit down to do critical thinking.
Exactly, and they're like highly intelligent in certain areas, and they're unstoppable. Yep. But the moment you put them in a social situation, it's just like they don't know what to do because the majority of their life was spent in front of a computer screen. It's almost like when somebody calls your cell phone, you're going, "What, dude? Why the fuck are you calling me? Like, why don't you just text me?" It's like that's the world we live in.
It's kind of like having a dog. You have to socialize a dog so that it can play well with others, but we haven't been socializing humans. So they don't play well with others.
Yep. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I go to conventions, like nerd conventions, and it's that everywhere. And that's cool because I'm a nerd myself. It just, I'm outspoken and I entertain and talk for a living. So for me, it's nothing. But I meet a lot of fans that they come and meet me and, they almost don't know what to say or to do. It can be awkward and that's fine. And then, that doesn't bug me at all for me, but I can tell that they're just so uncomfortable and I would just want them to be comfortable around me. I'm like, dude, like, I'm like you, I'm just super chill. Like, it is what it is. But when you go to these conventions and things, it's mainly because all of us that are there, we're all nerds and we all spend time in front of the computer. And the majority of the socializing that we do is through knowing somebody by username. And I'm even the same way. Like I find myself in situations where I'm talking to people in person and it doesn't feel as natural as being able to talk behind a keyboard, because I can do pretty much everything I want to get off my chest through text, and it isn't as awkward. I don't have to see an auto reaction. I don't have to give an answer right away. If somebody asks me something direct and I'm uncomfortable or I have to think about it, if I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking about it, it's awkward, and they know that I'm thinking about it. If they hit me up on Facebook or something and I need time or whatever, they can't see that. Maybe they can sense it, like, oh, this motherfucker just stopped talking to me for 5 minutes. What the hell? But it's that sort of thing, right? And yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary, but
I've actually gone the opposite way. Like, I'm like trying, like, and again, you guys call me Panic all the time. I'm actually like trying to migrate it so that people are going back to like calling me Tabin, because it gets confusing. There was a period of time where more people in my life would call me Panic than would call me Tabin. And it got very confusing. I'm just like, it's really awkward at times. I was at one of my jobs, and a guy literally yelled out, "Oh shit, you're PanicSwitched," across the floor. And this is in my professional day job, like sitting at a desk on an open floor. And I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I got to do something about this. Like, this won't fly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yep. No, I think, and there's an oft-used argument for this is every generation thinks the generation that's coming after it is fucked.
I know, yeah.
Get off my lawn.
That's so true.
You get old and you're like, oh no, the young kids are fucked up. Okay, well, I don't think any of us are saying that the next generation is going to completely be unable to do anything in life.
Oh, they'll be smarter than us by far.
Well, that's just what happens. Everything. Well, no, I think it will happen.
They'll be smarter, but they won't be wiser.
I agree.
They'll be smarter, but it will be in more hyper-specific things. General knowledge is going to become less and less common because everybody's hit with so much information on a daily basis. The amount of information that you have to cram into your head, waking moment to waking moment. We're already seeing it be a problem with kids right now, where the amount of education they're getting in school right now it has to be accelerated so much to the point where kids are just having a hard time literally being able to keep up with curriculum.
It becomes selective, right? People just kind of latch on to what
information
what it
overload.
Is they're just like, oh, I'm listening to absolutely nothing but this one thing.
Yeah. Which means eventually school is likely in some weird perfect world you're going to earlier on in life go down a path and say, I like this, I'm going to go this way, because there's going to be so much information for the general curriculum.
It'll be like the Hunger Games, right, where they give you a district and you're like, you're going to be a farmer, you're going to be a tech guy.
There's so much to know, right? So but here's my argument for the whole every generation's fuck whatever. We're talking about this whole technology and getting it in kids' hands too early, and people can't have social interactions anymore. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's this year or 1950 or 2050. At the end of the day, you are always going to have social interaction with people, period. And most of what you're going to be successful at in life is going to be because of social interaction, and it won't be through an email or a text or whatever other weird form of communication happens in the next 50 years. Yeah. And so there is always going to be a need to be adjusted enough to be able to hold yourself in a social setting with other people. It's not like the world's getting any fucking bigger, right? We just keep popping babies out left, right, and center. There's less and less room everywhere. Canada's pretty lucky because there's a lot of space for a lot of people, but if you go everywhere else, you are shoulder to shoulder with damn near 56 other people at all times. Panic would know this back home where his parents would originally come in from. At this point, Bangladesh, right? I'm not crazy when I say that, right? There's a pretty high proportion of people in Bangladesh. It's not exactly one person per square. What?
One of the funny thing, I'm going to say this because it's probably Jeff is going to laugh at this, but I actually had at my grandfather's house. He had a bunch of people working for him, and they asked me when I was visiting, because again, they don't like, Bangladesh is very homogenous, and they were just like, so on TV we see people with like different color eyes and hair, right? Like, is that really, does that really happen? Like, is there like red hair? And like, I stopped, and I was just like, That is such a straight. And then I realized, I'm like, no, seriously, everyone in Bangladesh is like brown-eyed, black-haired. Like there is like no other. There's really no other hair colors. Like everyone looks.
Unless you're like an albino and you're just like walking amongst the crowd.
And it's like different color skin tones. So like you see some like through the missionaries and stuff, but like one of them actually asked me, and I was just like, wow. Like it was like it was like a complete mind fuck at the time. I was like,
but it's reaching everywhere, right?
I'm like, I can't blame him for asking that.
Yeah, no, you can't. That's just the way it is in a lot of places in the world still. So, but regardless, and people might argue that at some point, the odds that humanity is going to blow itself off the face of the planet before human interaction is going to be completely nullified, because unless some weird science fiction thing happens where the entire population gets reduced from some massive plague, or we just literally blow ourselves up and then all of a sudden there's only one person, per square kilometer, then yeah, you're going to bump shoulder to shoulder with people. You're going to have to interact with people, and it's just, that's just fucking life. Yep. It's the way it is. And maybe maybe somebody's gonna say, like I said, that's not gonna happen. But even in far-flung futures, the odds of that not being the case.
Let's go to Mars, boys.
Not great. Not great. I mean, think about, sorry, Jeff, but think about what Panic just said. Let's say that we do get to a point where we're off-worlding somewhere else. You might not have to do it here on Earth, but you bet your fucking ass if we send you and 1,000 or 2,000 other people to go populate another friggin' place, you're going to be getting real fucking cozy with those other 999 people. So
just send Twitch streamers.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Well, I put us on a tangent there. I'm sorry, guys. I just thought the whole skipping of the ad thing was just super cool.